Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today I have something very special for you guys, and I know I say this every single time, but the reason why it's so special and why this podcast is so meaningful to me, it's because I'm gonna be sharing my own fitness journey. I feel like I've shared little bits here and there on my social media, talking about the things that I've done, the things that I have tried, but I haven't really shared everything that I've done. So I thought today was the day to share everything with you guys. I'm gonna be sharing from the start how I got started with everything, how I got started with my fitness journey, and also how and why I became a coach. I'm gonna try my best not to make this video too long, I promise. If you are watching this from YouTube, I'm gonna be sharing some pictures with you guys so you can see everything and you can see how I looked back then. But I also have some pictures on my Instagram if you wanna have a look. But let's jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into it because we have a lot to talk about. And hopefully my journey is gonna help you. Hopefully you're gonna be able to learn from my mistakes, because something that I've learned throughout my life is that successful people learn through failures, and those failures come from other people. If you're learning from my success, you're not really learning too much, but if you're learning from my mistakes, from my failures, that's honestly the best way to learn. Okay, let's jump straight into it now. Let's go back to 2009. That's literally more than 10 years ago, and that's when everything started. Literally everything. Why? Because 2009 was the year that we moved to New Zealand. So for those of you that don't know, I was born and raised in Peru. Peru is a country in South America. Born and raised there. I grew up there. I loved my family. I loved my country. I loved everything. But then we decided to move here. And before coming here, I was very excited. I was excited to meet new people. I was excited to learn a new language. I couldn't speak English, okay? English, I knew nothing, like the basics, but nothing else. But I was excited just to be in a new place, experiment, or learn more about a new culture and learn everything about this country. But when I got here, things were not how I was expecting. And if you have moved overseas, you will know exactly what I mean. And I've talked to some people, and some people are perfectly fine when they move to a new country. But I think most of us were not fine because we're used to our people, we're used to our culture, we are used to our language, we are used to literally everything. So going from here to a complete different country was a complete shock to me. I was feeling extremely homesick. I was feeling extremely lonely, even though I had my family with me. So I moved with my mom, my sister, and my dad, and my dad's family live here. I was still feeling very lonely, like very, very lonely, because nothing was the same. Absolutely nothing was the same. So what did I do? I started using food as my coping mechanism to make me feel better, because I had no friends. I had no social life. I was not really doing much. I was going out with my friends, with my cousins. They were taking me out to see new places. We were eating a lot, because that's what you do when you go to a new country. You want to try the different foods. You want to taste different flavors. And because New Zealand, it's such a multicultural country, we don't only have food from New Zealand. We have Asian takeaways. We have Indian takeaways. We have American takeaways. And we have so many things here. And that was all very new to me. So of course I wanted to try everything. And of course my uncles will buy me everything because they're like, try this. This is so nice. And it was not until maybe the end of 2009 that I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm not fitting my clothes anymore. I feel like I've put on way too much weight. Like, my face looked so big. I was feeling very, very uncomfortable in my own skin. I was really feeling very upset. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. Like, every time I would look at myself in the mirror, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like how I'm looking. I don't like how I'm feeling. But I just couldn't help it. Food was my coping mechanism. And that was my go-to. That was the thing that I knew was gonna make me happy. So I kept using food for months and months and months and years, because I just felt very, very lonely in this country. And then move forward to 2010, roughly 2010, that's when I decided, like, I need to do something about this. I cannot continue just keep gaining weight at this rate, because if I don't do anything now, I'm gonna be double or triple the size that I am right now, and I'm gonna hate that. I'm gonna hate to do that to myself. So that's when I joined the gym for the first time ever. It was my first time ever going to a gym. We joined this gym very close to my house, or to the house we were staying at that time with my uncle. And I was clueless, like literally clueless when I joined that gym. But you can see this picture right here. That's the one with the green top. It's me when I just moved to New Zealand. And then the one on the left, it's me about 1 year later. You can see the difference on my face, how much weight I have gained, because I gained mainly weight on my cheeks, on my face. You can see it. And yeah, so I joined the gym. I had no idea what I was doing. I literally no idea. I didn't know how to use the machines. I didn't want to ask for help because my English was still not the best and I was very, very shy. I was lost also at the gym. It was like a complete new experience for me. And something that they showed me, they were like, we have different classes. If you want to join the class, here's the timetable. I saw the timetable. I memorized that timetable. And I was like, you know what? I want to try every single class that I see here. So I tried Zumba, Pilates, yoga, spin, boxing, pump. Yeah, I think they were all the classes that they had, like 6 classes a week. But they had sometimes once a day, sometimes different classes twice a day. And my idea at the beginning was to try every single class, see which ones I liked, and then I was gonna stick with those ones throughout the week. But because I was so desperate to lose weight, and also I was so lonely and I didn't really have much to do, I joined every single class, not just for a week, not just for 2 weeks, not just for 3 weeks. I did that for months, like literally months. 3 reasons actually. 1, I didn't know how to use the equipment at the gym, so it was easier for me for someone to tell me what to do. 2, I was not really doing much after school, so that was the time that I would spend at the gym because I wanted to feel included. And 3, I was desperate to lose weight. Desperate. So back then I thought the more I exercise, the more time I spend at the gym, the more weight I'm gonna be able to lose, the faster the results I'm gonna see, and also I'm gonna be able to eat more because I am exercising more. That's the mindset that I used to have back then, and obviously that shows you like when you don't have the right knowledge, you just have no idea what you're doing. So that's me at the Zumba class. You can see me at the back. I'm gonna put a square right there so you guys can see. I looked completely different. Like that just doesn't look like me at all. I think back then I was maybe, how old was I? Maybe like 15? Yeah, probably around 15 years old. But I became very, very obsessed with exercises. So not only I was doing those classes that I just mentioned to you at the gym, but I was also running and I was also walking to a school. So from the house we were staying to my high school was about 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes back. So I remember on top of that, I was doing one of the classes, which was Zumba, spin, boxing, whatever class was on that day. And I will also go for runs. Not every single day. That was definitely not every single day, but maybe at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I would just run around, the block, do a few laps, make sure I'm nice and sweaty because that was my way of losing body fat. And yeah, that became a very unhealthy obsession, like very, very unhealthy obsession. And after a few months of exercising like crazy, but not seeing any changes on my body, I was like, there's something that I'm doing wrong. Like, how is it possible that I am exercising so much, but I'm not dropping any body fat? Like my body is not looking the way that I want it to look. And I had this like visual in my mind of how I wanted my body to look. I wanted to lose body fat, but I also wanted to have a nice physique, like toned shoulders, toned arms, legs. I used to see those girls on YouTube, pro bodybuilders at the time, and I used to be obsessed with their physique. I was like, I want my body to look exactly like that. But back then, I didn't know anything about steroids. I had no idea that those women were using steroids to help them look that way. I just told them they are exercising, they're eating right. That's why they have that amazing physique. So I started to experiment a little bit with my diet. Again, I had no knowledge. I had no clue what I was doing. I had literally this much knowledge about nutrition. I was still 15, maybe 16, I don't know, something like that. And I was just trying different diets. I would just go on Google, search up, diets to help me lose weight fast. I always wanted that quick approach. What's the best diet to help me lose weight really fast? To help me get rid of my love handles really fast? To help me get rid of my body fat on my face really fast? And I just tried everything. I tried fasting, I tried keto, I tried low carb, I tried eating just cereal and milk. I don't know where I got that idea from, but that was something that I clearly remember I used to do. I tried paleo diet. I tried going vegetarian for a little bit. It didn't last too long because I'm from South America. We love eating meat. And yeah, I tried so many other things, like literally so many other things, like so many other things. But I still didn't see changes in my body. And every single day, it was just so frustrating because I was like, I'm starving myself, like I'm not eating too much and I'm not seeing any changes, like what is going on? And I was like, hey, you know what? I've tried this, I've tried the classes. I am working on my diet, I'm on a caloric deficit. I don't know if I'd say caloric deficit back then, but I was like, I'm eating less, I should be able to lose weight. And I was like, let me try something else. There's something I still haven't tried. And that something was using the machines at the gym. So the free weights and also the machines. I was like, okay, this is the thing. This is the only thing I haven't tried. This is the one thing that is going to help me get the body that I want. It's going to help me lose that body fat. And I got so excited. I still didn't ask for help. Remember, I was very shy back then. So there was no way I was going to ask for help to someone at the gym or just some random person at the gym. I remember I would just go to the cardio machine, try to figure it out by myself how to use it. I tried to figure it out by myself how to use the cross trainer. And those were the only two machines that I would use outside. Before, I was only in the classroom. And then after that, I moved on to mainly the cardio area. So the treadmill and the cross trainer. The weight area was around here. And I would just, whenever I was doing my cardio, I would just watch people, watch them to see how they were using the equipment, how they were setting up everything, how they were holding the dumbbells, what exercises they were doing. Then I remember I would go home, look up workouts for women that want to lose body fat or workouts for women that want to tone their body. And I will just come up with random workouts. Like even if you go on Google now, you will see those very random workouts. It will come up with random workouts. I will just literally copy and paste everything, or I will watch videos on YouTube, copy and paste everything, like the workout from a pro bodybuilder or like a coach back then that I was filming and showing her videos on YouTube. And because I didn't know the name of the exercises, because I didn't know what sets meant or repetitions, I knew nothing. What I will do, my workouts will look something like this, which I think it's a little bit funny because as you can see, I used to draw everything. So in a piece of paper, at the top, I will put, let's say, upper body workout, 3 rounds, which for me, that meant 3 sets. And then I will write shoulder day, or like full upper body day. And I will write number 1, shoulder press, 3 times 10, 10, 10 to make it very clear for me that meant 3 sets of 10 reps. And then to help me remember the movement, I will draw like little pictures of like stick men doing that precise movement. So when I went to the gym, I will look at my paper that was like honestly so long, so many exercises. And I'll be like, okay, first exercise, shoulder press, that's how you do it. Second exercise, for example, push-ups, and then I will draw the little stick man doing the push-ups. And that was like a very good visual for me to help me know how to perform that movement, because I am a very visual person. So I need to know exactly, I have to visually see how to do that thing to help me remind me how to do the movement. So I will take my workouts with me, and I will spend so long at the gym. Remember, I still didn't have many friends. I was still feeling very, very lonely. So I had the time. I was young, I was studying, I was not working. I had plenty of time to spend hours, like literally hours at the gym, trying to figure it out and trying to do things by myself. I still didn't ask for help, not even after I don't know how many years. I just still didn't ask for help. I was like, I'm gonna do it, I can do it myself. And also I don't want to ask for help, I'm shy, I'm scared, I don't want to talk to people. And that's pretty much what I did for a few years. I would say maybe 2 years. 2 going into 3, maybe, I don't know, I cannot quite remember. But I do remember that around 2000 and maybe 13, which was my last year of high school. Yeah, because we were still living at that house. So maybe 12 or 13, something like that. That's when things got very, very messy. Like really, really messy. And messy because it was already maybe 2 or 3 years of us living in this country. I was still feeling lonely after 3 years, even though I made some friends by that time. I felt that I didn't fit in this country. I felt that I had a funny accent and I didn't like it. I felt that I couldn't socialize with people too well. I was missing my friends so much. I was missing my grandparents so much that I loved them so much. I was missing my cousins, my aunties, my uncles. I was just missing my life back home. And I hated the idea that we were gonna stay here. I just didn't want to accept it. Even though I knew we were not gonna go back to Peru, even though I was crying to my parents every single day, which obviously back then I didn't know that they made the right decision. All I knew is that I was very upset and that my parents were not listening to me, quote unquote, not listening to me. They were just trying to protect me. Right now, I do not regret it at all, but back then, I was just upset. And that's when I just didn't feel good at all. I didn't feel good at all. I stopped controlling what I was eating because remember, I was trying different diets. I stopped controlling what I was eating for a little bit. I would control again. It was that cycle, that crazy cycle that I think we have all been through. And maybe you're going through this cycle right now. You are very restricted for a little bit or during the week, and then weekends you let it go. Or maybe you're very restricted for a short period of time, and then whenever you feel emotional or you feel upset or stressed, you let it go. And you keep using food as your coping mechanism to make me feel better. I was just in this constant cycle. The cycle was cycling and it felt like it was never gonna end. I was still feeling upset, lonely, fat, out of shape, ashamed of myself. Yeah, it was just not a good time. And that's when I forced myself to do something that I'm just not proud of. Because why would I be proud of hurting myself like that? It's something that I did. Obviously, I wish I didn't do. But at the same time, it taught me. And I think that was a turning point. That was like, you fucked up. Like, literally, you fucked up. But that moment was a moment that helped me change things and helped me want to do better for myself. But at that time, that's when I forced myself to throw up because I thought nothing is working, nothing is helping me. I'm exercising like crazy, being so restrictive with my diet, even though I knew I was, cycling so much. And by cycling, I mean like being restrictive and then being not restrictive, going crazy, binging, all of those things. And I was like, you know what? If this is the only thing that's gonna help me, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna force myself to throw up, and that's gonna be the only way that I'm gonna be able to enjoy food. And at the same time, I'm gonna be able to lose body fat. That was my idea. And I did that. I forced myself to throw up for a few months. Like, it wasn't even just 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It was for a few months. How many months exactly? I don't know. But I just remember that I will go after lunch if I was at my house, or whenever I got home, or after dinner because I was still in high school. I will go run to the bathroom upstairs, put my finger down my throat, force myself to throw up, which is something that it was painful, like physically painful, because whenever you put your finger down your throat so much, your throat starts to burn. It starts to burn every time you want to throw up. And mentally, it's just not a good feeling. It's also not a good taste in your mouth, like that yuck feeling of your vomit. It was just, something that I'm just not proud of doing at all. Something I will never do again. Something I don't want you guys to ever do again, because you don't have to suffer. You simply don't. You don't have to suffer if you want to lose that body fat and if you want to get the physique that you want to get. But after a few months of me doing that thing, of me hiding that, because obviously I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my sister, I would just go to the bathroom, play some music very, very loud so they couldn't hear me, put my finger down my throat. One day, I had this like wake up call. I had just finished throwing up and I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like literally, what the fuck are you doing to yourself? How can you do that to yourself? How can you disrespect yourself and your body that much? Like, how desperate can you be and how crazy are you right now to do that? Because you clearly know that if you keep doing this, you can develop anorexia or you can develop bulimia, which are two eating disorders that are just not fun at all. Like, I've met people that have those disorders and I just know that they don't have a good time because it affects you physically, but mainly mentally. It's something that is really, really hard and very challenging to get out of. So I was like, you know what? From this moment, I promise you, and I was just looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I promise you, I will never do that to yourself. I will never do that to you again. I promise you. And that was the turning point, because that was the point or the time that I decided to educate myself a little bit more about nutrition, educate myself a little bit more about training, because I knew that there has to be another way. I was still not losing hope, but I was like, there has to be another way. And that's when in 2000 and I don't know, maybe 17, again, I don't know the dates, but yeah, after that, that's when I decided to do a certificate in personal training. And when I did that, that was only for about 6 months or maybe 7 months. I learned more about exercises, training, sets, reps, all the things related to training, which was something that was very, very helpful, like really, really helpful. My trainings were getting better. They were still not 100% because I was still messing around. I was still wasting and spending hours at the gym. But I think that time I was not spending hours at the gym because I felt that need or that loneliness anymore, but it was more because I truly enjoyed this. I truly enjoyed my time being here. And I would just keep spending hours and hours at the gym doing this crazy workouts. And even at one time, I remember I will make up exercises, or I would just think that if I do and add fancy exercises to my routine, I should be able to see better results. But even though it had been how many years, maybe 5-6 years after, I don't know, something like that, I was still not happy with the way my body was looking. So that shows you how, even though I started my fitness journey since 2010, a few years later of me still training at the gym, still dieting, doing those crazy approaches, I was still not content with the way that my body was looking. 2017, maybe 18, I don't know. That's when I decided to study nutrition. And at the beginning, I did this nutrition course for only 1 year. It was meant to be 2 years. It was more like a holistic nutrition approach, which I had no clue what was that, but I just knew this sounds very cool. Let me try. But when I tried, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this holistic approach. This is not for me. I respect people that do that, but this approach is not for me. So that's when I decided to go to university and study a Bachelor of Science at the University of Auckland in the pathway of nutrition. And that lasted for about 3.5 years because I failed one paper. I'm not gonna lie, I failed one paper. I was not the best with my studies, but I tried my best. And that was so challenging, but I tried my best because I promised myself I was gonna do it. 2018, that's when I wanted to take my fitness to the next level. I was still not happy with the way my body was looking. I was still working by myself. I didn't have a coach back then. But then for some reason, I started to see more clips about bodybuilding, more things about bodybuilding on social media. I think back then was mainly Facebook and YouTube. And I started to take more interest into bodybuilding. I didn't really see myself competing. I didn't see myself using a scale or being on that stage on a bikini all by myself, all eyes on me, walking around showing my body, being criticized by my body. But But I just like watching those videos on YouTube. I like watching those girls transform their body so much. One day, I remember my friend asked me to go to a bodybuilding show with her, and I went. And that day was when I fell in love with the sport, and I was like, those girls on the stage look amazing. Like, I want to be there. I really want to be there. And that's when I started working with my first ever coach, like first time ever working with a coach. I just find someone online, like I think I typed like bodybuilding coaches in Auckland or something like that. I found this guy. We were working together for about maybe 4-6 months or something like that. We started working around, let's say, January or Feb. And then the show was meant to be, I think, August or maybe October. But I was just looking very skinny. I didn't like the way I looked at all. And you can see why. I'm going to put pictures right here. I felt that I was so skinny. And I was comparing my physique with someone that's a pro bodybuilder. Someone that has been doing bodybuilding for so many years. And every time I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw that bodybuilder's picture from Facebook or YouTube, I was like, my body doesn't look like that. There's no way on earth I'm gonna jump on a stage looking like this. I don't feel confident. I don't feel secure about my body. I don't look like this girl that I watch on YouTube. And I was just comparing myself too much. And I was like, you know what? And I told my coach this. I'm just not gonna compete this year because I'm looking way too skinny. I need to gain more muscle mass. I'm not gonna go on the stage looking like this. This is embarrassing. And I clearly remember he was like, no, just do it. Like, you're fine, you're looking amazing. I was like, no, I don't like it. Like, you're not listening to me. I don't like it. I look too skinny. And because he kept pushing me, I just felt that maybe he doesn't really want to help me. Maybe he just wants my money. So I was like, you know what? I want to stop working with this coach and I want to try to find someone else. But something else I didn't mention about that first show, or that first time I started prepping for that show, I remember that was the time when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. We were together for about maybe 4 years. So that time when we broke up, I was feeling very upset. I was heartbroken. As you can imagine, like if you have gone through a breakup, I was heartbroken, like literally heartbroken. So I think I used bodybuilding not just as something that I fell in love with, a sport that I wanted to try, but I think it was also my escape to help me heal from that relationship, to help me feel better. I didn't know that at the time when I did it, but now looking back, I'm like, everything makes sense. That's exactly why I did bodybuilding, or that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to do that sport and why it was around that time, because that was my escape. That was the thing that helped me heal, that helped me feel better. That was the time that I was spent by myself at the gym, training, putting my focus into this and not thinking about what happened, not thinking about that heartbreak, not thinking about those moments that obviously it's not a nice moment when you go through that, but it happens, it happens to all of us. That's life. And those breakups, that heartbreak is what makes you stronger and teaches you so many lessons. So next year, that's when I started working with a new coach. We talked and I told her I'm not happy. I need to gain more muscle mass. She's like, yep, we need to gain more muscle mass before you jump on a stage. So that's exactly what we focus on, building more muscle mass. She was such a lovely coach. We worked together for about maybe 3 or 4 years, something like that. And she truly helped me so much. She helped me to go from this, which is how I looked after we have been wanting to gain more muscle mass, to show day, which is this one. So this is my first ever comp in 2019. I competed in the figure class. So for bodybuilding for women, there's 3 classes, 4 now, bikini, wellness, which is a new one, figure, and bodybuilding. So for my first year, I did figure, which is a more defined and muscular physique. I was pretty happy with the results. I was pretty happy. It was a tough prep, of course, but because I was so focused, remember the breakup, that was my main focus. I was so focused. It was not easy, but it was a little bit easier. But the thing that was not easy at all was what happened after. I kind of knew what to expect before the comp, because remember, I already prepped the year before with a different coach. So I knew that the calories were going to be very low. I knew that, I couldn't be just snacking and things like that. So that was fine. It was not fine, but it was better. It was a little bit easier. But no one tells you, literally no one tells you what to expect after the comp. That's when things got very, very messy once again. Last time things got messy was back in 2014 or something, when I, forced myself to throw up. But after the comp was when things got extremely messy once again. Because after you compete and after you have been restricted for so long, like so freaking long, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of you prepping for that show, straight after the show, all you think about and all you want to do is just eat. Nothing else. The only thing that is on your mind is food. That burger that you didn't have, that ice cream that you didn't have, those cookies that you couldn't have for 12 weeks, those lollies that you couldn't have for weeks and weeks and weeks. So all you want to do is just eat. And all I did for so many months was eating non-stop. I was binging like crazy, like literally crazy. I couldn't recognize myself because I couldn't stop myself from eating. It was something that I don't know how to explain. Like sometimes I was even shaking when I was eating because it was just getting so much. I couldn't stop myself from eating. Even if I was completely full, I still forced myself to eat, because my mind will go into this idea of, you're gonna be competing very soon. You might as well just, make the most of this while you can before you go to another prep. And it was a cycle that it was so challenging to get out of. My body was swollen. I was retaining so much water. I was so inflamed. My face was so big and puffy. I was not feeling my best. I was not looking my best, because I was comparing myself from Daniela from show day on stage, looking lean, looking amazing with that makeup, with that hair, with everything, to the Daniela that I see now that looks very bloated. She feels very tired. She's low in energy. She feels disgusted. She doesn't want to go out. She just wants to go to the supermarket and eat everything. I will even drive myself to McDonald's, something I have never done by myself. Drive myself to McDonald's, get some burgers, some chips, and then eat it straight away. I wouldn't even wait to go back home. I will eat it straight away. I will go to the supermarket. I wouldn't even wait to go back home. I will eat it in the car straight away. Open everything. Just eat like crazy. Just picture someone that hasn't eaten for the past 3 weeks, or let's say 2 weeks, someone that hasn't had anything to eat, just water. Imagine how that person eats when you give them food. That's exactly how I felt every single time. And it was horrible. It was such a horrible experience. And that's why I always say, bodybuilding is not for everyone. If you're thinking about competing, do it for the right reasons and get more knowledge, ask more questions, not just ask questions on Google, but ask questions if you know someone that has competed. Ask about their own experience. Ask about what to expect after the show day, after the day of your show. Trust me, it's not for everyone, so please don't do that to yourself. But anyway, yeah, that happened for a few months. It took me months to recover from that. And I just remembered that I wanted to get some help, because I was like, this is not right. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not able to stop. So because I was still at uni at that time, I went to see the counselor at university. I was like, I need help. I cannot do this by myself. She tried to help me, but maybe the approach that she used, I didn't like. I'm not blaming her at all. It's my own fault. I just didn't like it. I didn't want to listen to anyone because I just wanted to eat. So that really didn't work out for me so much. But I slowly, very slow, go back into my normal routine. I was still binging, but not as much as before. And I was just binging a little bit less each time. Still binging, but a little bit less, until I took the control back once again. And because I'm a little bit crazy, instead of me saying I'm not gonna compete again, I was like, you know what? Now that the damage is over, let me compete once again. And that's when I decided to do another show. Well, actually, two more shows. Those were my two last shows that I've even done. That was in 2020. Yeah, 2020. And that was around the time of lockdown. So I remember lockdown happened around that time. And that time was also challenging because I was still at uni full time. I was also working 2 or 3 jobs. Those jobs were just like casual part-time. And I was also prepping, getting ready for a bodybuilding show. And we also had COVID. So just imagine what a beautiful time that was. When I was working and prepping, that was hard. And then during COVID, I was not working, so I had more time, but I didn't really have much equipment. And it was harder because you are at home, you just want to eat everything, you have more access to food. So it was very, very challenging. But we made it. We made it. But the most challenging thing also was that because we didn't know if COVID was gonna still happening, if we're gonna be restricted or no, we didn't know if that show was gonna happen. So just try to imagine depriving yourself, being on a prep for so long, not knowing whether or not that show is gonna go ahead. Just imagine prepping for something that you don't even know if it's gonna happen. You don't even know if suffering this much for this long is worth it. But I did it because I was like, I promised myself I'm gonna do this show. So whether it happens or not, I'm gonna do it because I promised that to myself. Of course, I had my days that I was like, maybe I just shouldn't do it. Like, what's the point? There's no point of me doing this. But then other side of me was like, no, you told yourself you're gonna do it. Like, come on, do it. So that was very hard. That was very hard. And I also remember I was doing hours and hours and hours of cardio. Like literally hours. When I tell you hours, I was doing hours of cardio. Maybe about 2 months before the first show, so the purple bikini, I was doing 3 hours of cardio a day. You're probably thinking that I'm lying to you, but why would I lie to you? I was honestly doing 3 hours of cardio. So I would wake up in the morning, do some cardio, and then I will do my weight training or training at home if it was COVID. That time it was COVID, no COVID. So sometimes I will have access to a gym, sometimes I wouldn't, so I would just do what I can. And then more cardio at nighttime. No social life when we didn't have COVID. No social life because my focus was just university, finishing my studies, and also being ready for the show. And then the other show, the one in the blue bikini, that's only 2 weeks in between show. I know that my physique looks completely different and I look very different, but it's because those 2 weeks were so freaking challenging, guys. I started doing 4 hours of cardio a day for 2 weeks only, but 4 hours of cardio, that's a lot of cardio. I don't even know how I managed to complete those 4 hours of cardio. I really don't know how. I did it, obviously, but I just have no idea how. But I do remember that I will get blisters on my toes because I was just walking so much on the treadmill. I wouldn't really do my cardio outside. I'm just not like a very outdoor person, but I would just do my cardio on the treadmill. I bought a treadmill at home and I would just spend hours and hours and hours there. But yeah, after those 2 shows, like what happened after, it was not as bad as my first show because I already had the binging experience from the first show. So it was just not as bad. There was still a little bit of binging. I'm not gonna lie, there was still a little bit, but not as crazy as the other one. And then 2021, I think we had lockdown again. Yeah, we had lockdown again. And we had no access to a gym once again. So I was like, I need to do something with my life. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy. Not training, I want to go crazy, not going to the gym. So that's when I came up with the idea of running online classes for free. I will just ask on Instagram who wants to join my class, send them the Zoom link, make up a random body weight structure workout, and then just teach that class. That was my first time ever teaching a class, which was something scary because it was new, but at the same time it was something that I truly enjoy because I felt like myself. I felt that was my thing. I felt that coaching this woman, showing them these exercises, how to do this movement, it was my thing. So I truly enjoyed that. We will have the classes every, I think, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or 5 times a week, maybe 4 or 5 times, something like that. And then later 2021, that's when the idea of starting with my own brand came about. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can be like a coach. Maybe I can be teaching. Maybe I can be teaching more about fitness. I'm about to finish my nutrition degree. Or maybe I had already finished. Yeah, I think I had already finished my nutrition degree. So I was like, I can do something out of this. You know, this is something, I still didn't know what I was going to do. But I was like, I just came up with this name. And I was like, the name of my brand, it's going to be DDC Fitness, which is DDC for my name, Daniela del Carpio Fitness. Nice and simple, just like me, very, very simple. And that's when I wrote this letter to myself. And I was like, you know, today is the start of something new for you. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what to expect, but something new and big is gonna happen. And this is the day that things are gonna change for you. And that's when I started with the idea of starting my own brand. And then slowly got more into online coaching. I started working mainly with friends, just writing them meal plans, training programs, and then seeing the results. I was like, you know, wow, this is crazy. Like, how can just some small changes in the diet make a huge difference? I started to coach more people, take more people on board. By that time I was working full-time for a company. And then I started working with a different coach myself, so a different fitness coach. I still had the idea to compete again, but that was kind of like on and off. I was not 100% sure if I wanted to compete. But then 2 years later, 2023, that's when I decided to do online coaching full-time. So by that time, I was already taking clients, but it was mainly part-time because I was still working at my full-time job. But 2023, that's when I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, finally, at the age of 28 last year, I was like, I found my passion. I don't want to be working for anyone else. I don't want to be helping or doing things that are not helping me or serving people. I want to do something that is going to serve other people, and that I know that I can give, you know, my little help is going to go a long way. So that's when I decided to become a full-time online coach. That's when I quit my job, left everything, left that stability to start with my business. And it's something that I do not regret at all. I think all the years of experience with my own fitness journey has helped me, and it's helping me to help my clients. It's helping me to share my story, my experiences, exactly what I'm doing right now, so you guys can learn from me. You know, we all make those mistakes. And like I said before, like if you learn from failures, you're gonna be able to be more successful, because you are gonna be able to not repeat those failures. Success leaves clues, but also failures leaves clues. So that's something that, yeah, I really enjoy doing. And I really enjoy coaching. I really enjoy just seeing my clients go from literally this to a complete different person, push themselves out of the comfort zone. You know, exactly what I've done by myself. You know, my journey of 20 plus years. Most years by myself, and then I started working with a coach, and I saw the difference that it made on my own fitness journey. And I know that working with a coach does make a huge difference. So we are here now, exactly 8th of May, 2024. It's already been 1 year of me running this business full-time. 1 year of me helping women full-time transform their lives, you know, making them understand that you don't have to suffer to get the body of your dreams. You don't have to suffer to get the physique that you want. You don't have to make the mistakes that I've made. Working with a coach means that you're gonna walk in that direction that is gonna take you to achieve the goals that you wanna achieve. And it's something, yeah, that I mean, you can see it. I think you can see it on my page. You can see it probably just by talking to me. I am truly passionate about this, and I wanna keep doing this. But that's a little bit more about my journey. I tried to go as fast as I could because I really don't want to make this video too long. I hope you guys took a lot of value from this podcast, this video. I hope you can take away something that is going to help you, something that is going to serve you. And I would love to know more about your journey. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. And if you enjoyed this, share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela del Carpio. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.